Well, speaking of lasting legacy, that'll be a nice intro into our first guest. And looking by I don't think he knows where I'm going with this, but he looks a little sheepish. But Roy Fuoco from the Ledger, back once again, a frequent guest here on Sports Central. But there's such a connection to not only what we're doing at Visit Central Florida Sports, but sports is part of the fabric of Polk County, part of the fabric of our community. And the coverage of that, the Ledger has also been a part of that. And Roy, you've been there for a very long time covering high school sports. And every time school starts, we want to get you back on to talk about the fall. Then we want to talk about the winter. Then we want to talk about the spring. So Roy's on here probably more than we are, but welcome back, Roy Fuoco.
Yeah, thanks. It's good to be back. And you're talking about Mark, and Mark started, what he did with sports marketing. Mm-hmm. When I was as soon as I got to Polk County, or that same year, when I was starting at the old Lake Wales Highlander, 34 years ago.
Wow. Jack, did Roy just take credit for everything Mark did?
Yes. That was it.
No,
good show, everyone. We'll take care. Yeah.
No, he knew I needed something to cover, so he was kind of, did.
Well, that's exactly right. So leisure travel, if there's different events going on, of course you can always go to visitcentralflorida.org.com, whatever it is, we've got them all. But it's a quality of life thing for the residents of Polk County to be able to go to these athletic events or these other things that people save up year round to come to Polk County for their vacation or their sportscation, if you will. Mm-hmm. But to that point, you have to have great media partners to promote those things, because it truly is a quality of life thing for us in Florida.
Yeah, and in sports, the tentacles economically just go out into, you name it. I mean, from medicine to transportation to, that. I mean, everything, advertising and stuff like that. So, I always felt that back during the COVID days, I always felt sports was an essential, to the economy.
Well, we didn't pay him to say that, but we also do agree with you.
However.
Well, it's hard to believe we're already in 2026. It's hard to believe in 2026. We're in August already, and school's been back. So those yellow larger vehicles are back on the road, and maybe it's taken a little bit longer to get to wherever you're going. So as a reminder, stop for school buses, be safe, make sure our youngsters are safe. But speaking of the youngsters, let's go to the high school side of things. It's time for fall sports, and we've said this on this program a lot. Jack, you certainly know this too, that in the fall, I think football gets a lot of the publicity. It probably draws the largest crowds of any of the fall sports, but we have a bunch of other sports. So before we really dive into football, what are some of the other things that you see this fall season where Polk County teams might do well?
Well, that's funny because we haven't really gotten into the other sports yet. A lot of that previews start coming out next week. Mm-hmm. I mean, in volleyball, Robert, our brother writer, covers that. And Winter Haven typically has been good. They'll be getting to the region finals and making deep run with Dylan Seacrest, and one of their top players, Sophie Whitaker, is back. So, Winter Haven in that sport will be a team to look at. The two golfers for the girls' side who are back, Hannah Castillo from Frostproof and Georgia Spence. I can't remember her first name because I think it's Grace Georgia, something like that. Mm-hmm. Anyways, her sister Arlen played at Lakeland, but she's one of the top golfers too. And they've been, and then Leonie Tavares from McKeel. Spence and Tavares are from McKeel, and they're back, and they've been top golfers. So, and they've been the last 2 years. They've been players of the year. I think it was Tavares and Castillo co-players of the year last year.
And one of them's quite a bit younger than the other, right? So one of them was a freshman last year or a sophomore?
Yeah, Frostproof girl I think she'll be a freshman this year, and the McKeel girl I think will be a junior.
Yeah.
And so on the girls' side, that they're really strong, and then Castillo's brother is good at Frostproof. That's right. So he's really good. Cross country is going to be interesting on the boys' side. The top two runners graduated. Lakeland Christian, I was talking to Milt Lyons last week, and his boys' team is going to be really young. Could be good in a couple of years, though. On the girls' side, though, Emma, right now she's in a class by herself. Emma Wilkinson from Lakeland Christian. She a lot of the top runners for the girls are back, and obviously there could be improvement or something. But as of last year, she was a minute faster than the second fastest in the county, and I think she finished second in the state. Well, in track she finished second. I think, in cross country I think she was like fifth or sixth, right in that mix and all. So
she played soccer as well, right? So she's
yeah,
one of the
she's
Christian tends to develop those fully rounded.
Yeah, and she's so she's stays active, and she's been the top runner for what 3-4 years now.
Yeah,
so so those and then. Don't ask me about bowling, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we got bowling in the fall, but
listen,
that goes a little bit beyond me now. Right
Neal is crushed.
What
that
is
was
it? 35 years you've been doing this. I'm always amazed each and every year the retention you have on these names. Not just now, but he'll be like, oh yeah, 20 years ago, so and so, or whatever. And I don't remember what I ate for lunch.
Yeah.
and you're able to. Maybe we should fact check him because maybe he's just making it up. I don't know, but he does an extraordinary job. But as we do look at the impact of our student athletes in the community. Of course, we still host the largest number of FHSA state finals of any county in the state of Florida. And that's a great partnership with Visit Central Florida Sports as well as the Polk County Public School District, because they reduce their costs when those championships are local. Obviously, we want the teams from out of the county, but we also want good representation because it builds up the attendance stuff. So it reduces costs for Dan Talbot and Superintendent Hyde and the whole thing. But also, we get those millions of dollars of economic impact. So that's important. But let's talk about football. We've only got about 4 minutes left. Time just flies by. We say it every time. We should have him on here for the whole show. But other than Lakeland, we're going to make you go do that last. Who are your front runners to maybe hoist a state title at the end of the year?
That's tough in this regard. Lake Wales is, I think, maybe the second best team in the county, except they got to go through Orlando Jones. And if they get through Jones, there's another really good team. I'm going blank on because Jones might be 1 or 2 in the so before Lake Wales can think of anybody else in the region, they just got to find a way to beat Orlando Jones. And we'll get a little bit of an idea tonight when they played DeLand. Now DeLand is number 1 in 6A, and I expect DeLand to win. Just a good 6A team, you figure should beat a good 4A team. But how they compete. And both offensively and defensively. I mean, the second time Lake Wales played Orlando Jones last year, it was close. And when I was talking to Rayshawn Pugh last week, he goes, one of the differences was that he felt the first game was the players didn't think they could, compete with Jones. They're better. And the game kind of got away. The defense kind of hung in there, but the offense struggled, and you saw that in the second game. It was a closer game, and sometimes it's the confidence. Hey, we can. You're not playing the uniform. You're playing the players, and so how Lake Wales competes against DeLand, win or lose, could tell us a lot.
Well, their quarterback was a freshman last year.
Yeah,
and injury forced that early in the season. He's got all that experience, and so. Okay, so Lake Wales has an outside shot, but they got to get past Jones.
Lakeland Christian, they're another team. They're going to be in a strong, region, and especially if they get to the Final Four. But they're senior dominated. Brody Brenneman's probably the top quarterback in the county. He's going to USF. Ty Bunce-Dioka, hope I pronounced his name right. He's going to UCF. He's a center, so they got Division I center anchoring the offensive line. They're a little bit more deeper, I think, maybe at wide receiver. They may not have someone as good as DJ Howard. I say that, although Messiah Borders from Bartow went to we'll see how he does in the passing game. He didn't catch a pass last week. He returned a punt and a kickoff for a touchdown, so he's explosive. So from that explosive standpoint, he's up there with DJ. So offensively, they have the offense to make a deep run, and then they're stronger defensively. They got the linebacker from Lake Gibson who came over, Kason Beck, I think, among some other players. So they're very senior heavy this year. So they're definitely someone to keep an eye out in 2A.
Mm-hmm.
Being a Bartow guy, I didn't do this on purpose, but we got about 20 seconds for you to talk about Lakewood. Obviously, the Dreadnoughts loaded once more, looking to make a deep run, but maybe going into that open division that the FHSA has instituted this year. So real quick, what do the Dreadnoughts look like, and do you think they can make a run in that open division if that's where they end up?
Yeah, I mean, they're playing Kathleen tonight. That unfortunately Kathleen's down, so that's not going to really be much of a rivalry game. They'll play Venice next week, and that kind of gives us the first chance. They play like 3 elite teams like that, American Heritage and then First Academy to end the season. They'll need to win definitely 2 out of those 3 games, obviously with everybody else, if not all 3, to move into the top 8. Obviously, their offensive line really needs to improve if they're going to move into the top 8 and compete. Or now I don't see St. Thomas dropping out of the top 8. So if they stay out of the top 8, then definitely the 5A opens up to them a lot more. They don't have to play St. Thomas in the final. But their offensive line will be the key offensively when they play those elite teams. And then I was going to say defensively too, but they lost some of their top linebackers from last year, but they've got some players in, and we'll see how it develops. They handled West Broward in the state runner-up in the Classic last week, so from that standpoint, it's different than last year when they didn't really do much against Northwestern. Of course, I'm not really comparing Northwestern and West Broward, but so whether or not they get into the top 8, they're going to have a deep run.
Well, he's Roy Fuoco. He's with the Ledger. You want to make sure you catch all the coverage from Roy and the rest of the team. Roy, thank you so much. We appreciate the time. And let's go ahead and get Roy back in a few weeks, because we'll already see how this is unfolding and maybe have a longer conversation. Roy, thank you. Appreciate the time.
All right.